What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Topic of Discussion. I am your host, Miles Berry. Without further introduction, let's get right into it. So today, it's just gonna be just some motivation. Today I just wanna just speak on some things just to keep us motivated, some things that we already know, but just need to reiterate certain things in our life and just keep moving in the right direction. So I'm just gonna talk about a couple things, okay? The first thing I want to say is the only person who is coming to save you is the version of you that is sick of the current version of you. Again, the only person who is coming to save you is the version of you that is sick of the current version of you, right? Meaning that sometimes when we just want to get out of a situation, or we want to be better, or we're just wanting to just be healed from certain things in our life, we're just like, somebody please just come save me, like just come in my life. I don't care if I know you, I don't know you, I just need something to come into my life. But we need the person in the mirror, right? And we I feel like we know that, and we need ourselves. Like, we are the deciding factor if we move on. We are the deciding factor if we heal. We are the deciding factor if we go a relationship with God. We are the deciding factor if we choose to rekindle old relationships, forgive people, forgive ourselves. Like, we are the deciding factor on how we move on in our life, right? And when you're going through pain or you're hurting, you look for anybody to put the blame on except yourself, because you don't want to blame yourself, right? You don't want to be at fault, so you'll look for anything and anybody to put that blame on, so you can say, you know what, this is why I did this. You're the reason why I did this, because you did this. This is why this happened to me, because you took me down that path. I know I walked down that path, but at the same time, because you sent to me, it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? We always look to blame somebody. God, you know they shouldn't have been in my life. God, I'm blaming you. We always look for someone to blame for our actions that we did. We chose to. Nobody took our hand and forced us to do this. We chose to do everything that we have done in our life, right? So if you're choosing to do everything that you're doing in your life, when something happens and maybe it takes a turn for the worse, you can only blame yourself, because you chose to do that. You chose to get into that relationship. You chose to go down that path. You chose to be tempted by those friends. You chose to go there that night. You chose to have the bad relationship with God and not trust him to do the things that he said he was going to do in your life. You chose not to rekindle that relationship with your parents, and now your parents are down in the grave, or now you have to go see them at a grave site because you chose not to rekindle that relationship. So sometimes it hurts and it's a lot of pain, but at the same time, we can only blame ourselves for our actions, right? Because they're our actions. And I really also want to say, sometimes I was just telling somebody about this the other day, that sometimes I feel like we can meet people, and we can meet amazing people and great people at the wrong time. And it can just be at a bad time in our lives, just not where we want to be. And I feel like it's hard to be in a relationship. It's hard to grow with people. It's hard to be the best version of yourself if you're not somewhere that you want to be in your life. And it doesn't matter if it's a good place for them, you know, if they're looking at your life and you're like, oh, you're good to me, like where you are right now, you're good. It doesn't matter, because it's how you feel, right? And if I don't feel like I'm in a good position in my life, it's hard for me to do certain things, because I'm always going to be having that in the back of my mind. Like, I'm not where I want to be, right? And that might be okay to you, but it's not going to be okay to me, right? So, um, as we go throughout life, keep trying to develop, and also don't try to rush into relationships. Don't try to rush into really any relationship. That's even with friends as well, even with spouses, um, family members. Don't rush into things that you're not ready for, right? Don't just jump into it if you know it's not good right now, or just because you feel like you need to do it right now. There's some things that I feel like you need to jump into and do it right now, but that's not one of them. That's not one of them. Because sometimes jumping into or forcing things to happen actually make things worse. It makes things worse, right? So sometimes if you jump into a relationship, it's just like, all right, I want this relationship right now, so I'm gonna jump into it. You can actually mess up the relationship. And if you would have waited maybe a little bit longer, that relationship would have been healthier. That relationship would have been better for both of you guys. You guys would have been in a better point in y'all lives. Like it's just different ways and various ways that it can go, right? So I just want us to understand today that the amount of control that we have over our lives and every step that we take is inevitable, right? I feel like it's everlasting. Like we have so much control. Like to the day that we die, to the day that we leave this earth, we have control over our lives. But where we choose to control our lives are sometimes not in the best interest of ourselves. And it's in the best interest of the world, but not the best interest of ourselves. So I want us to understand how to grow, how to develop, and how to develop inside yourself, how to develop inside your mind, how to develop inside your soul, right? So we go back to other things that I have talked about on other podcasts on spending time with God, writing things down, taking time with yourself to understand who you are, taking time with yourself to grow, taking time to understand the things that you will allow and you won't allow. You're creating boundaries, taking time to strengthen your foundation, taking time to just really sit with yourself and be patient with the journey that you're taking in your life, right? So I want us to understand today that life will never be perfect, right? We're always going to have flaws, and you're never going to meet a perfect person. I was telling somebody just the other day, too. You're never going to meet the perfect person, right? Everybody's going to have flaws. But when you start to see those flaws as perfection and vice versa, that's how you know you found your person. That's how you know this is the right person for me. Because they're not literally perfect, but they're flaws and how your perception of them becomes perfect. Like you're perfect for me. You're not perfect literally, but you're perfect for me. Even through your flaws, even through your mess ups, even through the things that you're going through, even through the things that you're dealing with right now, even through the problems that you face on your daily life, I I see perfection in you. And again, it's not literally, it's through your flaws. Like you're perfect to me. This is what I need in my life. I see you. I see your growth. I see your potential. I see everything that you can be. And I also see who you are right now. Right. And you're perfect for me. Right. So, um, you really just have to take time and you can't just expect to have everything right away or just right now in your life. And as you have these spaces in your life, or maybe you're not in a relationship, or maybe you're going through a rough patch, take time to understand yourself, because if you take time to understand yourself, it's always something that you can work on. And maybe it was something that you were battling, maybe it was a addiction you were battling. Like it's always something, and I promise you, if you can beat that, whatever you're going through, you're going to heal yourself in the process of getting ready for the next thing in your life. You're going to heal yourself in the process of getting ready for the next person or the next relationship that you have in your life. Because sometimes I realize that I can be with somebody in a relationship, right? And that relationship goes terribly wrong. They're like, oh, I hate you. You're the worst person ever. You're a manipulator. You're this. You're a liar. You're this. You're this. You're this. And you go to the next relationship and you are perfect. You are perfect. And sometimes we don't understand that certain individuals can bring out the worst of us, because sometimes it's not, oh, okay, this is who you are, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this. But sometimes it's just certain people that can bring out the worst of us or make us respond in a certain way or make us do things that's really out of our character. But it seems consistent in this relationship. But at the same time, you should not have been in that relationship, or you should have left when you start seeing yourself get out of character or move in a direction that you're not used to yourself moving, because you know yourself more than anybody. And you know, once you start coming out of character, okay, this person's bringing me out of character. I don't mean a character as in you're faking who you are, but your character as in who you are, who you really are deep down inside. And sometimes people bring the worst of that out. They don't bring that good side out. And sometimes it can be you. Maybe you don't like this person or love this person like you thought you did. So therefore, maybe their actions, or maybe they're being a very nice person, but at the same time, your responses are negative, or the way that you're projecting yourself upon them is negative, and it's not intentional. But at the same time, this person wasn't right for you, so therefore, your actions and your projection of yourself to them is coming out in a negative way. So of course, their perception back to you is going to be a negative way, right? So therefore, now it's time to move out that relationship. And now, if you take yourself to another relationship after you heal, get yourself together, but in the next relationship that you have, you might be perfect for this person, right? And it's not like you're doing anything different than you were before. It's just a better person for you, right? And sometimes we always think a relationship has to go bad, or a relationship has to be negative, or it has to be arguments, blah blah blah, blah 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 for things to go wrong. Like for this person just be like, okay, you're a negative person, I don't need you in my life, you're the worst person I ever met. But sometimes people are just not meant for us, right? People are just not meant for us. And as you go throughout your life, the best thing that you can do is to understand who you are. Like in my case, the best thing that I can do is to take time to understand who Miles Berry is. Take time to understand who Miles Berry is. What does Miles Berry like to do? What does Miles enjoy? What is Miles' love language? How does Miles respond to emotional trauma? How does Miles respond when life is going wrong and he's still trying to fathom everything that's going on and see what's the best direction to go? How does Miles handle addictions? How does Miles heal when he can't? How does Miles trust God when it feels like God is is putting him in the wrong path, or in the wrong direction, or I keep going around the wrong people? How What does Miles do when life is not going his way? What does Miles do when he loses everything? How does Miles handle these situations? Right? So we take time to learn who we are so we can be better for the next person. And not even better for the next person, better for ourselves first. Because I should be coming to you happy. I should be coming to you peaceful. You should be coming to me happy, and you should be coming to me peaceful. And we should be adding on happiness to each other's life. Not being each other's happiness, adding on happiness, right? I should be adding on to your peace. Not being your peace, but adding on to your peace. And it's a huge difference, right? So we take time to learn who we are. But it's hard to just sit and feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm perfect, because I'll never be perfect. And I don't feel like I ever be the right person for everybody. And I just won't. And there gonna be some good relationships you get in, I get in, and there gonna be some bad relationships. And it's not gonna be because they're a bad person, it's just because it's not working. Right? And sometimes you can't force things to work in your life. You can't force people to be in your life. You can't force people to see your perspective, the way that you view life, understand the way that you think, understand your perception of them. If y'all are disagreeing, or you don't see them like you thought you did, but it's good to be honest, and it's good to communicate. And sometimes I'm not the best communicator. I'm not the best at being honest. I lied. I lied right there. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. I don't mean like that, but I mean in the sense of just speaking how I feel all the time. And some of us have a hard time just coming out and speaking the truth, because we kind of think about how it might make others feel. I'm sorry, I might make others feel. So therefore, we kind of hold back our words about our tongue in a sense. But I feel like over time, I really start to be able to communicate better. I'm still working on it, and just being truthful in the moment and saying, you know what, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And this is how I feel, and this is how I feel like we should move on. You know, just understand that you're not perfect, and you're always going to be growing throughout your life, and you're always going to be developing. But just make sure that every step you take forward is in the right direction, and it's going to make you a better person, right? A better a better friend, a better husband, a better wife, um, a better son, a better daughter. Like, just in every aspect, just try to be the best version of yourself, because that's the best thing that you can do for everybody else around you, including yourself, right? And again, I always like to put at least a little something in here with this. Again, as far as growing your relationship with God, just pray, spend time, and develop who you are as a person, right? So, as I was just speaking on before, when I was saying, okay, understand who you are as a person, develop who you are, so you can take that on to the next relationship, but also so you can take that on to God, right? God wants to see our improvement. God wants us to see us doing better, right? We don't want a handout, right? And He's not going to give us a handout. We have to choose Him, right? And we also have to get better, right? So He puts things in our life. He gives us the opportunity to be better. He gives us the opportunity to rekindle relationships. He gives us the opportunity to be better, but He doesn't force us to be better. It's always an opportunity, and you have to choose that. And to be the best way to be ready for an opportunity is to be prepared, right? And to be prepared is you're growing every day. You're taking time understanding who you are. You're healing. You're praying. You're developing, right? So as you go through these stages in life, you're getting better and you're getting more prepared for this opportunity when God gives it to you, right? I hope you guys got something out of today. This was a short video. I do have to get going. I'll be back tomorrow morning for another video. And this has been Topic of Discussion. Miles Berry. We out.